Here is part 1 of the topics explained, building on the structured format you've requested. Chapter 1, Introduction to Population Geography. 1.1 Introduction. Population geography is the study of how humans are distributed across the Earth's surface, why they live where they do, and how their presence influences the environment. It blends aspects of physical geography, landforms, resources, with human factors, cultures, economies, and migration. Now, 1.2 Definition of population geography. It is a branch of geography that focuses on patterns of human population concerning physical spaces. Key aspects include population density, size, composition, age, sex, and movements, immigration, emigration. 1.3 Evolution of population geography. Population geography originated as part of broader geographical studies in the 19th century. Over time, the discipline evolved to include statistical methods and theories to understand demographic transitions, migration patterns, and the interrelation between human populations and their environments. 1.4 Content of population geography. The core subjects covered are population distribution, how people are spread globally or locally; birth and death rates, key factors influencing population growth; migration, movements of people due to economic, social, or political causes; urbanization, growth of cities and its consequences on surrounding areas; resource use, how population growth strains natural resources. 1.5 Methodology for teaching population geography. Teaching population geography includes using tools like maps and GIS, geographical information systems, visualizing spatial distribution, census data for understanding demographic characteristics, case studies, examining real-world scenarios like urbanization in Mumbai or migration in Dhaka. Would you like to dive into part 2 or focus more on the details here? In 1.2, Definition of population geography, the key aspects include the following detailed considerations. 1. Population distribution focuses on where people live and the factors affecting their geographic placement, e.g., climate, resources, culture, or political boundaries. High density is typically found in fertile river basins like the Ganges, while deserts or polar regions show sparse populations. 2. Population density refers to the number of people living per unit of area. Urban areas like Mumbai have higher densities, whereas rural or remote areas tend to have lower ones. 3. Population composition studies the characteristics of a population, such as age, gender, ethnicity, occupation, and literacy. For instance, younger populations dominate many African nations, while developed countries often have aging populations. Number 4. Population growth considers how populations change over time, based on birth rates, death rates, and migration. Understanding these growth trends helps in planning resources and services. 5. Population movements, migration, examines how and why people move, both locally, urbanization, and internationally, immigration. Reasons include economic opportunities, conflicts, environmental changes, or better quality of life. 6. Population and the environment studies how populations interact with their surroundings, focusing on the impacts of overpopulation, urbanization, and pollution. These aspects make population geography essential for understanding societal development and planning for sustainable resource use. Would you like me to elaborate more on any of these? Here's part 2, focusing on the subsequent topics with details. 1.6 Scope of population geography. The scope refers to how population geography extends into various areas of human and environmental studies, such as 1. Understanding spatial distribution, why certain areas, like cities, have higher populations compared to rural areas. 2. Impact of human-environment interaction, examining how human activities, e.g., deforestation, urbanization, affect natural resources. 3. Urbanization and migration studies, exploring the rapid growth of urban centers like Dhaka, Mumbai, and Shanghai, and the challenges associated with mass migration. 4. Resource and policy planning, helps governments predict resource needs and plan services like healthcare, education, and housing. 1.7 Population geography lesson requirements. 1. Maps and data interpretation. Students and researchers must understand geographical maps and population-related data. 2. Demographic data. Census figures, migration surveys, and birth-death records are essential. 3. Case studies. Real-world examples, such as China's one-child policy or the growth of slums in megacities, make lessons relatable. 4. Spatial tools. Use of GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and statistical models to analyze and predict population trends. #Stat 1.8 Difference between population geography and demography. 1. Focus. Population geography examines where populations are located and why, spatial and environmental factors. Demography analyzes how populations change, birth rates, death rates, aging, etc. 2. Methods. Geography relies on maps, spatial tools, and environmental analysis. Demography uses statistics and mathematical models, e.g., calculating population growth rates. 3. Application. Geography is used in urban planning, land use policies, and climate studies. Demography informs policy decisions related to pensions, healthcare, and labor markets. #Stat 1.9 Relation of population geography to other disciplines. 1.1 Population geography and sociology. Population geography investigates how social factors, e.g., family size, social norms, affect population distribution. For example, rural regions often value larger families due to cultural and economic reasons. 1.9.2 Population geography and anthropology. Anthropology examines human cultures, providing insights into how traditions and beliefs influence where populations settle or how they migrate. 1.3 Population geography and statistics. Statistics provide numerical tools to measure and interpret population size, growth, migration, etc. Without statistics, analyzing trends like India's urbanization would be impossible. At 1.9.4 Population geography and demography. Demography supplies essential data like age structures, fertility rates for people to map and study spatial impacts. 1.10 Problems and importance of measurement in population geography studies. 1. Challenges. Data inaccuracy, errors in censuses and surveys, lack of data, inaccessible or missing records in some regions, especially developing countries. Political bias. Governments may manipulate data for favorable outcomes, e.g., underreporting unemployment. 2. Importance. Enables informed decision-making for infrastructure, healthcare, and resource distribution. Helps address inequalities, such as access to education or clean water. Would you like to continue with Part 3 or focus more on specific sections of this? Here's Part 3, delving further into detailed topics. Start 1.11 Relationship between population geography and economic development. 1. Impact of population on economic growth. Large populations in productive age groups, 20 to 60 years, can contribute to economic growth by creating a robust labor force, e.g., India's demographic dividend. However, overpopulation without proper resource management leads to unemployment and strain on infrastructure. 2. Urbanization. Population concentration in urban areas, e.g., Mumbai, Shanghai, boosts industrial and economic activity, but often creates challenges like housing shortages, traffic congestion, and pollution. 3. Resource management. Economic development relies on efficiently managing resources. Overpopulated regions face challenges with water, land, and energy availability, hindering development. 4. Examples. Bangladesh's dense population hinders per capita resource availability despite GDP growth. China's economic policies balanced population growth through measures like urban planning and the one-child policy, now relaxed. 1.112 Recent trends in population geography. 1. Urbanization. The rapid growth of megacities like Dhaka, Mumbai, and New York City highlights trends in rural to urban migration for better job opportunities and living conditions. This trend leads to both opportunities and challenges, such as slum formation. 2. Aging populations. Developed countries, e.g. Japan and parts of Europe, face population decline and aging populations, creating challenges for pensions, healthcare, and workforce availability. 3. Climate refugees. Rising sea levels and extreme weather, linked to climate change, are causing mass migration from vulnerable regions. For instance, low-lying nations like Bangladesh are at risk. 4. Technological integration. Advances in GIS and big data analytics help researchers analyze population dynamics and predict migration or resource use trends effectively. Chapter 2. Approaches to population geography. 2.1 Introduction. Approaches to population geography vary by researcher, but focus on linking population patterns with environmental, social, and economic factors. 2.2 G. Trewartha's view. Trewartha believed population geography should bridge human geography and demography. He emphasized studying population with a regional focus, exploring both physical settings, natural landscapes, and human dynamics. Kherstadt 2.3 W. Zielinski's approach. Zielinski concentrated on migration, specifically push-pull factors influencing why people move, e.g. better job prospects or escaping poverty. His work forms the basis of many migration studies today. 2.4 John I. Clarke's view. Clarke suggested integrating geography with sociology and economics. He highlighted that population growth, migration, and distribution patterns must be studied alongside cultural, social, and economic factors. 2.5 Bouziaux-Garnier's approach. Bouziaux-Garnier emphasized human settlements and spatial relationships. He viewed population geography as essential to urban planning and resource allocation.